Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast. Dave Palais, Josh Palais, Mario Heron. Look at that, just a couple days later, and we're back. Big news. I think Mario, you called it. If there's big
Yeah,
news coming down, and guess what? There's about to be big news. We'll be back right away, and here we are. We're back, man. That good news if you're a Charger fan, actually.
So what do you
yeah.
think? Do you guys agree that Justin Herbert's worth all that money?
Go ahead, Mario. You go first. This is the thing I know you were actually promoting, and you said it's going to happen, guys, sooner than later. Watch, and then sure enough, man, almost right after we got off the air, it happened.
Look, I thought it was beautiful. As soon as it happened, I ran upstairs. I kissed my mom on the cheek. I said, "I love you. This is one of the best days ever." We got him extended. It's a headache we don't have to worry about later in the year. It's something we did before Burrow's contract, and Burrow's contract's about to be insanity of all the money he's going to get with everything he's done. And let's just be honest, that Herbert has it done. And now I think you eliminated every single distraction from going into this season is now gone, right? Like you handled Eckler's contract situation. You've handled Herbert's contract situation. You extended Derwin James last season. That's your three best players right there, all under contract, all sitting happy, pretty, besides a couple Zoom meetings. Everyone's doing good. We're focused on the season. Let's get Charger football in. Let's worry about nothing else except winning. Let's worry about that, especially Herbert passing touchdowns, because 7-1 ticket your boy has, and that'd be really cool if I could cash it and then buy something nice in Wrigleyville. So I love the move. It was only going to get more expensive. And look, we're in this time right now where every franchise QB is going to be the next richest QB in NFL history. Everyone's just going to keep topping each other. It's just going to happen. You had to do it quick. You had to do it fast. He got it. It's a little bit less guaranteed and a lot of incentives in the deal. But it's perfect for a guy in his first 3 years. He's a leader in completions, passing yards, combined touchdowns, and 300-yard passing games. That's pretty damn good. I love the move. Let's focus on the season. Screw the Raiders, bolt up, and Patrick Mahomes, your voice is weird. That's all I gotta say.
All right, Josh.
This is an extremely team-friendly deal. How did they only sign him for $52 million? And I know it's a ton of money, but Justin Herbert to me is the face of the league. Put Patrick Mahomes aside, I'm putting Justin Herbert right there with Joe Burrow's future. That's how good I think Justin Herbert is. I think it's extremely team-friendly. As a Charger fan, I'm ecstatic. You know, we're 1-0 this week because we signed Justin Herbert. It's a big win for us this week. But I think it's extremely team-friendly.
You know, I look at it so many different ways. Yeah, did I expect him to get the money? Yes. Now, look, it was smart on 2 points getting the deal done right now before Joe Burrow, because the talk was who's going to jump first, right? Is it going to be Burrow?
Yeah.
Is it going to be Herbert? If you're a Herbert, you definitely wanted, if you're a Burrow, you wanted Herbert to sign first because you wanted to use, that bar to go, this is what he's done. This is what I've done. This is where I was taken in the draft. This is where he was taken in the draft. I've gone to a Super Bowl. He hasn't gone to a Super Bowl. I've won playoff games. He hasn't won anything. So, for Herbert to go in and sign first, the argument works in his favor too, because Burrow could have signed first for more money. And then he goes in with his agent, says, we want the same deal Burrow got. And the Chargers will go, what are you, insane? What have you done? You haven't won a playoff game. You haven't been to a Super Bowl. And a matter of fact, the team that we're most concerned about in our city that we share a stadium with played in a Super Bowl and they won a championship. And now we're playing from behind anyway. So for the Chargers, I think it worked out great. And for Herbert, it worked out great. No more of that thinking, is this deal going to get done? Am I going to be happy when this deal's done? Will they respect me and pay me what I'm worth? He's definitely worth the money he's getting, because that's what the quarterback position pays for guys that are as good as Justin Herbert is. Now, at the same time, this is where the uncomfortable thing, I think, comes in. If I'm Justin Herbert, you guys tell me if I'm wrong. Okay. You signed the deal. It's the biggest story going right now in the NFL that Justin Herbert signed. For now, it's the biggest story until Joe Burrow signs or something else big happens. Dude, how do you make even eye contact with Austin Eckler? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, hey, we're teammates. I'm going to depend on you a lot. You're going to depend on me a lot. And I make more than 5 times the amount of money you make. And yet you complain about it every day. I haven't said a word. And look what happened. I just fell into a big pile of money. $52 million a year.
I think you set up a Zoom meeting with him and Josh Jacobs and said, how you doing? I think that's what you got to do.
Now, look, it's not Justin Herbert's fault, right? It's not Justin Herbert's fault, but it is weird because, the guy that you see every day that stands, 10 feet from you, is really, really upset. And yet Justin Herbert, who has been in the league a shorter amount of time, and we all agree the quarterback position is more valuable. It's just kind of funny that, hey, I know you're really unhappy, but I am so happy right now. You can't believe it.
Show them
It's-
houses.
It's
Yeah.
ironic. I mean, dude, the guy that makes Justin Herbert, one of the guys that makes Justin Herbert look so good is Austin Eckler, but it's really an apples to oranges comparison. We were talking about
100%.
Austin Eckler and Justin Herbert. And the crazy thing is, Aaron Rodgers reworks his deal today so they can create more cap room. He takes a $35 million pay cut right out of Tom Brady's book to help him sign some more players, hopefully get another Super Bowl ring. A lot going on. But like I said, the Chargers are the big winners this week. You have to be extremely happy if you're a Charger fan. Do you guys have any predictions of what Joe Burrow is going to reel in? Because like you said, Mario, this is going to be the biggest deal in NFL history.
I mean, so he only totally highest paid quarterbacks per year I'm looking at right now. Like it's 52.5 Herbert, Lamar is 52, then Hurts 51. So like I wouldn't just be surprised if they were just like it's 53 and it's the difference between Herbert and his is fully guaranteed and his is just like a kick in the nuts of Watson's deal. Like if you thought yours was guaranteed, buddy, you're about to see something nuts. Like I think that's just kind of something that's going to come his way. If you're the Bengals, I mean I preached this with the Chargers too, and I think it was another reason why it's really smart to get it done now. We've all said that. I mean, Dave, you're big on Herbert for MVP this year. I like him for passing touchdowns. Josh, you've said over and over again that Kellen Moore is going to extend the field, throw the ball down, and something that really Herbert excels in. We all see that a big season's coming. Could you imagine how much more expensive he would have gotten at the end of the season? I mean, it would have been insane the amount of money we'd have to even cough up front just for that. And not to mention a new price, like let's say, I know his contract's not up, but let's say Lawrence has a big year, right? Fields, let's say, comes up and has a big year, right? Those are two organizations that never really had a franchise quarterback, so they're going to toss the freaking world at him. I mean, the World Bank's going to go in debt more than I guess it already is. I don't know, but like it would be insane the amount of money that these guys would get. But so it was smart for Chargers to do that on that end. The Rodgers thing's just kind of. All right, we're good guy Rodgers again. Yeah, kiss my ass, buddy. About in a month, you're back being the devil. But I think, bro, I would imagine if it just goes 53 and then it's the most insane amount of like guaranteed contract money of all time. It'd be funnier. It'd be really funny since he's has a history of being cheap. Is that if they like really lowball him? That would be funny. I would buy Sky and Chili and have a good time reading that.
So here's the deal. You're right. So Cincinnati has the reputation of being the cheapest organization ever. That's just what they are. They always have been. They have arguably the best quarterback in the league. Obviously, all three of us think it's Mahomes, but people in Cincinnati will say we wouldn't trade Burrow for anybody. They love him. Ohio kid, right? He's supposed to be the face of the franchise, which he is. Ohio State made a huge mistake. He goes to LSU, wins a national championship. Everything has worked out perfect for Joe Burrow, the Ohio kid, to go home. Took him to a Super Bowl, everything, and the best they say is in front of him. I'm going to surprise you. You guys tell me if you think I'm crazy. I think Joe Burrow takes less money. I think Joe Burrow shows I am the ultimate team guy. I not only will I make my money back with endorsements, will I look good for the fans of the Bengals and for the state of Ohio, but at the same time, by me taking less, I get to keep my wide receivers. So we all know that Joe Mixon's going to stay. We all know that they have Chase. And the big thing is, can they afford T. Higgins, right? Him taking less will let him keep all of his weapons and be a dominating team for maybe the next 10 years. Would not surprise me at all if Joe Burrow takes less, kind of does the Tom Brady move.
Dude, I don't know why more people do not do the Tom Brady move. Weren't you to make that money back in endorsements if you end up winning Super Bowls and playing in the playoffs every year? The Bengals, to me, have the most unfair advantage with T. Higgins. Everybody wants to talk Jamar Chase, which they should, right? Amazing wide receiver. T. Higgins is in the top 10, in case you're confused about the top 10 wide receivers in the NFL. The guy's a freak. If you could keep him and Jamar Chase for the long run, dude, I don't know why you wouldn't do it if you're Joe Burrow. There's a few guys on Twitter that I see, and I respect what they put out there. There's a lot of guys that put bull crap on Twitter. Adam Schefter is one of the guys that I trust. And he said he can promise us that Joe Burrow's contract is going to be well north of Justin Herbert's. So whenever Adam Schefter says something like that, you believe it. Do you guys agree?
I do. I'm an Adam Schefter fan. I believe it. And I think, honestly, he could ask Mario for like $58 million and get it. Nobody would say, oh, that's crazy. For what he's done so far in his career, I just think he's going to surprise all of us and be the ultimate team guy.
Okay, could you also see it? Like, I'm pretty sure I'm looking this up right now because I do not want to be wrong. Yeah, okay, I'm right on this. I could also see them going, it's going to be an insane amount of contract, like an insane amount of money, but do what they did with Mahomes, the Chiefs did, where it is a crazy long period of time, right? Like it is an 8-year, 9-year, like 10-year contract, right? Like I could see where that way, where yeah, it blows Herbert's contract out of the water, blows Lamar's, Hurts, Mahomes's, Rodgers, like all that out of the water. But it's over such a crazy period of time, such a long period of time, and so much guaranteed that it's still team friendly, right? So like if you want to get Jamar Chase on a 3-year whatever deal, T Higgins on a 4-year deal. I mean, they got 2 pass rushers too. Like they still need to pay Mixon on like a 2-year deal. You can kind of do that. So I think I could see that going and just going, let's just make it this like an 8 to 10-year contract to make it fat, make it long though, because Burrow said it. And he's a hometown kid. As long as he's there, they're going to be a contender. And all signs point to like he's going to be there for a while. So you might as well just pack him in for a long, long period of time. And that's nothing for Herbert's deal, right? The no trade clause in it. I mean, God bless. Not only do we find a king, we found a king that goes, yeah, my kingdom's here, baby. I'm not leaving.
Yeah. I mean, to go back to your point about the long contracts, I don't know why every quarterback isn't signed to a long contract. They're not getting hit. Why wouldn't you sign these guys and lock them up for a long time like they do in baseball? Sign them to the Shohei Ohtani deal. You know, if you're the Chargers, why not give Justin Herbert an 8-year contract, a 10-year contract? He's young. He's probably not going to get injured, knock on wood. So why wouldn't you do it?
That's a fair point. Yeah. Sorry, what were you going to say, Dave?
No. I'm with Josh. But here's the deal. I always think we always get confused as fans for how important it is to win a Super Bowl. And I think there's no other position where it's important when you talk about legacy than quarterback. I mean, we just spoke on the last show about Phillip Rivers. Is he a Hall of Famer? What is it that's holding Phillip Rivers back? And the thing that probably doesn't get him in, if he doesn't get in, will be the fact he never won a Super Bowl or participated in a Super Bowl. Legacy is always marked down as Super Bowl championships. I mean, Patrick Mahomes said the other day, someone said the word dynasty to him, and he got upset. He goes, no, we got to win 3 for it to be a dynasty. 2 is just, back to, basically we're competitive if we won 2 championships. But you want to talk about us being one of the greatest teams of all time, we need to win at least 3 of them. I don't know. I just think Burrow, Josh, you said it, that he said he wants to be competitive and the team will be competitive. The money's there. People always ask this question, how much money does one person, need? You always hear that all the time. I'm not a big fan when other people talk about other people's money. What does the money say? The money says you're worth it. I mean, there's an ego involved there too. I mean, if he got, let's say $58-60 million, the money says he's worth it as a top quarterback, if not the top quarterback in the league. It will be interesting to watch. But I think this played out perfectly for Charger fans and for Justin Herbert, that it's out of the way. And there's a reason why we're all excited. You just don't want to have to worry about contract situations and what's next. I do want to point out real quick on the Aaron Rodgers thing before we move on to other stuff, because Mario follows that division like crazy. He hates the Green Bay Packers. He always talks about it all the time. He even hates the uniforms. There's nothing about it that he likes. He was so unteam friendly when he was in Green Bay to the point where they couldn't keep Devontae Adams. Now, all of a sudden, he's reworking his deal with the Jets, and he just got there. And you're going, what the hell? He's talking about playing a second year, that he's not doing the fake retirement deal like he did in Green Bay all the time. If I was a Packers fan, I'd be furious right now to go, all of a sudden, he's the quarterback we wished he always would have been, instead of being the guy he is with the Jets. The Packers got the worst of Aaron Rodgers. The Jets right now seem like they're getting the best of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. And I think it's also just, like you said, it's funny his like different approach to this, like the approach of so much drama with the Packers and so much is he even going to show up to the training camp, the Devontae Adams situation, him on multiple times about LaFleur, how he doesn't like all the motions LaFleur has pre-plays. And he's like, dude, let's just give me a snap the ball. Let me read the defense and let's just go. And then right now it's like, but it's also a classic New York Jets thing, right? Like we get the camp, it's smooth sailing. This team's going to be great. You have the guy with the strongest New York accent of all time screaming on the fan going, this is the year, go ahead, buy the season tickets, get the parade ready, all of this stuff. And by week 3, they're all crying already and they're boycotting the stadium. They got trash bags over their heads and they're back to being depressed New Yorkers that they've always has been and that we've always loved. So it's a story as old as time. I think it's going to keep happening. He looks very skinny, by the way. Like he looks a lot thinner than he actually did in Green Bay. And yeah, I mean, if I was a Packer fan, which I thank the Lord, praise be that I'm not, I would be pretty pissed off just like with how things, like you can't tell me you're not like a little let down with how things ended. Yes, did you dominate your rival? You did. Do you dominate NFC North? You did. But you only got one. And that's at the end of the day. And then on his way out with his 2 back-to-back MVP seasons, you have nothing to show for it. And how did those losses taste? In your stadium by the 49ers, who just shoved it down your throat. That's what she said over and over again.
I can't believe Aaron Rodgers has won Super Bowl for how great he was. He was the Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes. Every Sunday you turn on your TV and say, how is this guy so freaking good? Tom Brady's great, but Aaron Rodgers makes things look even easier. He only has 1 Super Bowl. Same with Drew Brees, man. 1,000,000 yards, all that crap. 1 Super Bowl. I think that just goes to show how great Tom Brady was. Peyton Manning, the guys would make it all the time.
Peyton has 1. Peyton really has 1. He got benched the second one.
Yeah. Defense was the best defense I've probably ever seen, that Broncos team. The Aaron Rodgers thing is really interesting because, like you said, he looks different physically. He looks different. He looks like he's aged in the face like 3 years since last season, but he looks pretty damn good on these clips they've been putting in practice. I don't know if I believe the whole Garrett Wilson hype train that they've been doing the last few weeks. He's the number 3 receiver in the NFL. I don't believe that at all. I want to see Hard Knocks. I want to see how good these guys really are.
I am glad they're on Hard Knocks, though. You know, nobody wants to be on Hard Knocks. They always say that all the time. I'm glad the Jets are on Hard Knocks. I think the Jets are a fascinating story. If I'm a Giants fan, I don't like the fact that the Jets are on Hard Knocks because no matter what, and Mario is that guy that even watches the Hard Knocks during the season. Like you're all in for any Hard Knocks you can possibly get.
Yeah, always hard.
We sit there and we look at teams like the Bengals or the Chiefs or whoever's been on there in the past, and you start following the guys that made the team. Like I was following the goddamn Detroit Lions roster all season last year because I watched it on Hard Knocks. So for the Jets, this is perfect timing. They can say whatever they want. They don't want the cameras there. But, man, this is great marketing for the number 1 media market to have Aaron Rodgers and the Jets on Hard Knocks.
Aaron Rodgers loves it. Aaron Rodgers loves it.
Do you think he does? Do you think it's just an act?
What do you think is an act?
Everything's an act. That he hates to be bothered.
No, it's an act. It's definitely an act. If you hear his old Packers teammates, they say it's all an act. This guy loves the spotlight. He loves to act like, oh, don't look at me, but he wants you to look at him. Aaron Rodgers, if you've noticed the last couple of years, he's doing 1 million interviews. The guy's trying to get everywhere. And the fact that he signed with the Jets tells me he wants to be the number 1 media market. He wants to be on TV as much as possible. And Hard Knocks coming to him is probably the best thing that he could have wanted.
If he didn't love the attention, he wouldn't have gone on the biggest podcast in the world and then a top 3 biggest podcast in the world weekly. So if you didn't want and then go to the biggest media market in the country. So for someone that doesn't love the media attention, he's doing everything he can to be in media and then also hit at controversial topics and say things that, it's going to get clickbaity and it's going to bring eyes on. So for someone that doesn't love it, it's like the Kyrie situation when he's like, I don't want any media to like be around me. And then the next sentence he says, LeBron wasn't the best player he's ever played with. I'm like, okay, good job, man. That second sentence, you realize like, okay, good job, man. You really understand what you're doing. But yeah,
Mario, let me ask you, as a guy who hates everything about the Packers again, and a guy who's hated Aaron Rodgers since the day he was drafted, is Aaron Rodgers in your top 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time?
Top 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time. So sadly, this really like grinds my gear to say, but yeah, because the amount of times I've watched him like rip my heart out, stab it, and then just do it while laughing is one of the biggest pains of all time. I mean, let's honestly think about it. Like, so you have Brady up there, you have Manning up there. I don't know how Rodgers is not up there. Mahomes is a current player, but I would put him up there already. And then what? Hit the old men. So you got Joe Montana. That's the old man cry. And then Maybe Dan Marino. I mean, I'm shooting from the hip right here, fellas. So he's in my top 10. I think no matter what.
He's in mine. He's in mine. Again, from all the stuff he does, that's to me just insane. I mean, like almost he does things that you wouldn't teach. I think kids how to throw. I mean, he throws off his back foot all the time. He's insanely accurate. Even his Hail Mary passes, like he completes those all the time. I mean, there's so many things he does that it is amazing. Going back to Josh's point that he's only has one Super Bowl championship. He's just so good that people ask me who are the best quarterbacks of all time. Obviously you go Brady, you go Montana, you go those guys, but man, Aaron Rodgers might be my favorite quarterback of all time to watch.
Kiss my ass. Oh,
all right. That wasn't a direct shot at you. I'm just saying, as a
I know.
fan,
Yeah, my bad.
It's just what you have Tourette's. You just scream that at me. It's just just one of those things where over time he might be my favorite quarterback that I've watched when I love watching the NFL. I don't know. Am I crazy, Josh? What do you think?
No, you're not crazy at all. Like I said, he was Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes for me. The off-platform throws, just throwing off his back foot, like you said, everything you're not supposed to do, and he did it, and he made it look easy. Tom Brady, to me, the game looked slow, but he wasn't like cool. Aaron Rodgers, sorry, Mario, for this. He was cool, dude. He was rolling out in the pocket, throwing the ball like you're not supposed to, like it's the backyard. It was awesome to watch. Patrick Mahomes does it now. Joe Burrow, I'd say, is more like Tom Brady, but like the early 2010s, I've never seen anything like Aaron Rodgers, most dominant player I've ever seen.
But he just flicks the wrist and is insanely accurate to get the ball over the linebacker's hands. It's
crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like it looks like he's throwing a ball that's the size of a Nerf football, but yet he's throwing the same size football that everyone else is throwing. It just looks too easy. It's I don't know. Again, there are a lot of things about Aaron Rodgers I don't like. Like I don't trust a guy where his family doesn't like him. That's weird to me. You know what I mean? There's zero communication with his family. So you go, oh, he must be a jerk. And then and you saw what he did with the Packers, so you think he must be a jerk. And then overall on the football field, it feels like he could have done anything he wanted to do. I think when it's all said and done, his career will be considered a little bit of a disappointment because it's going to go back to that argument. How could he be as great as everyone says he was and only has one Super Bowl?
Yeah. You also can't trust a guy that has like, I have a blonde, relax. But like you can't trust a guy that does the blonde and like the shaved sides. You can't trust those guys. You can't, dude. Can't trust those guys.
All right. And I never thought of it. I always heard the two first names. You don't trust guys with two first names, but I never thought about shaving the head bun thing. Now I got to look out for it.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. I'll look out for it. All right. One of the things we wanted to do, because there's always a little bit of bad news on the show, but it's fun for us because we're in those positions. We do the three coaches, in our opinion, that we think are on the hot seat going into the 2023 season. Okay. Now, it's always fun to play with someone else's job, but we know families are affected, all that stuff. Don't sit there and write to us about this was ridiculous. Okay. This is fun for us. It's entertaining. Because that's the way it works in the NFL. Coaches get replaced all the time. Usually around an average of 8 a year lose their jobs. You got 3 guys, Mario, that you want to start with that you think are on the hot seat?
Yeah. Are you going to bang out all 3 or go one by one? Well, all of us around.
You choose. You choose.
All right. I'll just go one and then we'll just go youngest to oldest. So, yeah, there we go. All right. So I'll start off first. So I think coaches – my number one guy, I think that's on the hot seat. And funny enough, you can also, well, I guess it's not funny because it's sad too, but you can now bet on the first coach fired in the NFL. So, you can gamble on anything. So my first one, Ron Rivera, head coach of the Washington Commanders. He has 22-27-1 record in Washington. No playoffs as he's been in Washington. I don't think he's a bad coach. Obviously, he has Super Bowl appearance. So, you can't say doesn't know what he's doing. He's a smart guy. But new ownership, new group coming in, and they probably want to get out with the old. They're going to change in the name. They want to get out from that Dan Snyder era. Dan Snyder's the one that hired you. You haven't really done anything in your time. Has he got shafted? Yes. You got Carson Wentz, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Dwayne Haskins as his QBs who just didn't really reach up to their potential. But at the same time, he didn't perform with a team that's not insanely not talented. And he hasn't really done much, and they're in a tough division. And new owners tend to, how do you say this, not be very patient, right? Denver, not very patient, went out and bought Mahomes and bought Peyton. Different sport, but the Brooklyn Nets owner went out and bought Kyrie, Harden, and Durant pretty freaking quickly. New owners don't have a lot of patience. They like to buy quick, like to get good quick. Ron Rivera, I think, is on a very, very short lease heading into the 2023 season.
I like that. All right. Number one guy, short leash for me. Any guesses? Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley last year, I thought, could have lost his job. If you're up 28-0, you're expected to win. You get disrespected by Joey Bosa, supposed to be a team captain, in front of a national audience. You take it like a you know what, and then you lose the game. I don't know how many guys would keep their job in that situation, especially with a top-tier quarterback like Justin Herbert. You're supposed to run the defense. You guys couldn't stop a nosebleed in the second half. Like I said, most teams would have fired their coach in that situation. Brandon Staley this year needs to go into the playoffs, needs to win a few games to keep his job. He's definitely on the hot seat.
All right, so the guys you named already so far, are you saying these guys get fired during the season, or guys who are going to lose their jobs?
I'm saying
back in 2024. What are you
like
saying?
on the hot seat and potentially won't be back in 2024.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure we're set. All right. For me, it's my number one's Mike McCarthy. He's the number one guy on the Cowboys. I think, and Jerry Jones is very strange with head coaches, but I think now that Kellen Moore's gone, I think it opens a lot of windows that will point out the fact that it's Mike McCarthy, the one that's inept, and it wasn't Kellen Moore.
Ooh,
I like that. Good
I like
call.
that a lot. I'm a big fan of McCarthy.
Good. Are you really?
Yeah,
No,
he kept Rodgers from not winning a Super Bowl. It's
All right.
gorgeous.
I want to touch on what you just said about Ron Rivera, though, real quick, because
Okay.
I agree with what you're saying about ownership wants to put their own mark on the team. Ron Rivera, yeah, I think is a decent coach. If you ever met Ron Rivera, he's a great guy. Here's the deal, though, with Washington. You know, we talk about Caleb Williams and what team he'll possibly end up with. How quickly would Washington change as far as if Caleb Williams was the number one quarterback on that team? I mean, Ron Rivera hasn't had a quarterback. There hasn't been a quarterback in Washington for a long time. But all of a sudden, the new ownership comes in, new team name. They have the renderings for the brand new stadium, everything. And Caleb Williams is the face of the franchise. All of a sudden, man, Washington, we're back, baby. Right? I mean, if you're a fan of you know, the Redskins, the Commanders, the Washington football team, or football club, whatever the hell they were called, you're going, this is exactly what we needed. You know, we have ownership that wants to be here, that cares about the team, and we have a city now that can get behind this team because now you have a face of the franchise in Caleb Williams. That'd be crazy. And I know you aren't supposed to tank, but literally, if I was ownership with almost called them the Redskins, if I was ownership of the Commanders, I think I would say, hey, Ron, we got to do what's best for the next 10 to 15 years. And guess what? We are not winning the Super Bowl in 2023, no matter what you do. So we're tanking.
Yeah. Not to mention, like, similar to like a lot of these, honestly, three guys we mentioned. New OC, Eric Bieniemy. What if he does what if the team sucks, but like the offense is really good, right? Like it's like the offense puts up 24 points a game, but just they get outscored every single freaking time. Who says that they're like, hey, we're gonna get the number one pick, number two pick, we get Caleb Williams, we get a Drake May. Let's just put the hard restart. Ron, thanks for coming. There's the door. Bieniemy, let's get you a shot in an interview, or let's get another offensive guy in. Like that can't be out of the question for Washington. And it's in a division. You're not gonna win that freaking division, right? Like that's 3 playoff teams potentially in that division that are gonna beat the snot out of you.
All right, here, I'm going to give you a guy, and this isn't on my list of guys to get fired. He's definitely not getting fired, but I think this is his last year coaching this team. I think Sean McVay, by the way, is done after this year in Los Angeles. I think he's going to announce his retirement. And then if things go what we were talking about, it's going to end up being that Sean McVay ends up taking that Washington job. You know?
You think he'll go take the Washington job?
He was already an assistant coach there. He knows what it's like to be in that area. It's not like, hey, I've only worked in LA. He knows what it's like.
Because you think he wants Caleb Williams?
I think he wants Caleb Williams. If he has an opportunity to get Caleb Williams, guess who's and maybe they work out a trade. We've seen coaches traded before. John Gruden was traded from the Raiders to the Buccaneers. But Sean McVay knows the cupboard is bare, man, with the Rams. The Rams aren't coming back for a long time.
I was
That
looking at
team
the
does
Rams
suck.
depth chart. I was looking at the Rams depth chart today. That team legit sucks. There's not much on that team. If I'm him, I'm trying to get out too. They need all the picks they can get. Trade them for picks. Go ahead.
Seriously, you could trade Sean McVay to Washington. And I know I'm jumping off topic here. Trade Sean McVay to Washington. And if you look at the Rams, don't be surprised Aaron Donald retires after this year also. Because Aaron Donald said, I'm only playing for Super Bowls. I've done everything else. So what does that leave you with? Cooper Kupp? You got nothing on that team.
Yeah, nothing at all.
And you already traded Ramsey.
Yeah. Seriously, you have no names. You have nothing.
Yeah. All right, Mario, who's your number 2 coach?
Number 2 is Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh. New York Jets. That's his last name, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Currently has a 11-23 record as a head coach of the New York Jets. I would not say it's very good. He did turn around the defense. Defense looked 10 times better than Everett has in the past, since Rex Ryan days. So I will give him that. He did get handcuffed a little bit with Zach Wilson, who we've all said we never really saw since the beginning. But now, like I said, a big thing with head coaches is when they're flirting with a job security, when they fire an OC and they get a new one, that's always like, oh, you're flirting with getting the boot, right? So gets a new OC, gets a new Hall of Fame quarterback, in a win now window with Rodgers is probably going to at max play 2 to 3 years at max. I wouldn't be surprised if calls after this year if it goes sideways. Very, very young, very, very talented team in a very, very big market that loves you and then hates you in a second. It is a bipolar city. One day they love you, one day they'll stab you. Just what it is. So I think he's big on the hot seat right there. He has all the pressure in the world to win this year. It's not going to go out there and let's just see what happens against the Dolphins or see what happens against the Bills. Go out there and freaking win the game. You better make the playoffs, buddy, or boy, are people going to be on your ass.
Yeah, so I think what you just said right there is the recipe to be on the hot seat. You have a team with a quarterback finally. You guys weren't bad the year before. Now it's your time to put up or shut up. And that's why my number 2 coach right here is Kevin Stefanski of the Cleveland Browns. He finally gets Groper Cleveland for a whole season. See if he can produce. And the Browns, if you look at the roster, you could argue they're the second best team in that division behind the Bengals. I don't know what the Ravens are. I don't think the Ravens know what they are. Steelers aren't very good. I think the Cleveland Browns are right there, contending for the playoffs against a team like the Chargers. Kevin Stefanski, to me, is in a put up or shut up year. He's definitely on the hot seat.
Damn it. That's my guy. That was my number 2 also. He's gone. He's 100% gone. I don't care that they have Groper Cleveland or not. He's gone. It's the Browns aren't going to do anything. It's the Browns. I mean, we goof on the Chargers. The Browns are the Chargers squared. They're a complete mess, and Stefanski's gone. I think actually he does get fired during the season. If I had to pick a coach to get fired during the season, he would be the guy. Going back to your guy, Mario, he only has to win over one person. That's Aaron Rodgers. The second Aaron Rodgers turns on him, that's when he's on the hot seat. Otherwise, he's going to be fine. But if Aaron Rodgers says he's my guy, they aren't firing him. You know what I mean? You're not going to upset Aaron Rodgers. He said he's coming back for year 2 already. So as long as you can win over Aaron, and if you look at some of the quotes already, man, he's all over Aaron Rodgers. How great he is, and he's better than I even imagined. And I can't believe what it's like to watch him every day. Yeah, he has to. He knows he has to win over one guy. The guy who controls his job is that guy.
Well, I want to ask you a question because you're the one that always says you need an offensive coach in this league. Robert Saleh is a defensive coach. Aaron Rodgers has had offensive coaches. How does that dynamic work? This guy doesn't really care. But he cares about the offense, but he's a defensive guy. Does that ruin the dynamic?
Who's the OC? Who's the OC with the Jets? It's Hackett, right?
Yeah,
that's Aaron Rodgers' boy. I mean, the Jets would look like fools giving Hackett the head coaching job right after he completely s the bed with the Broncos. So if you sit there and you go, well, Hackett would be my guy, you just say, look, you and Hackett have a great relationship. I'm going to handle the defensive side of things and the head coaching duties, and you and Hackett go ahead and do your thing. I've seen it before. You guys are going to be great together.
God, I cannot wait to see Nathaniel Hackett on Hard Knocks. Like, what is this? What goes through that guy's head? Like, what?
Dude, Nathaniel Hackett. Like, here's one of my pet peeves. I hate guys who fall up because I never fall up. You know what I mean? And Hackett falls up. I mean, he went from Russell Wilson and the disaster of the Denver Broncos. I mean, arguably Hackett might be the worst head coach in the history of the NFL. And then here he is. He's now in the number one media market with a team that is supposed to make the postseason with his guy, Aaron Rodgers, who already knows his offense. He completely fell up.
Yeah. That's as good as it gets, basically.
Goes it gets. Do you think he's a little scared to call plays? Like he's like a little scared.
Nah, I think he's one. No,
He's
no
good.
one believes they're trash, right? No one believes they're trash. He's not the one.
Yeah.
God, man, I'm trash. He's thinking I just need an opportunity. Russell Wilson effed over my one chance I had to be a head coach,
Whoa.
right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what
Russell
they
Wilson.
did. It's behind closed doors. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
But
I don't know
he
what
screwed
you're
him over.
referring to.
Don't you think he tells his wife and his kids? He goes, Russell Wilson screwed up my one opportunity.
Oh, my God.
Who are you blaming if you're Hackett?
Oh, yeah. You're blaming Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
He forgot how to play football. But, dude, he was the worst. I mean, like you said, he's in the conversation for worst head coach ever. Like, he was so bad.
He wasn't good at
So
anything.
bad.
He was exposed all over the place for everything that head coaches should be able to do.
Yeah,
Could have
could've
managed the
managed
clock.
Yeah.
Could have
No.
called timeouts when you're supposed to. I mean, everything that could have gone wrong for him went wrong.
So, okay, do you think a guy like Kellen Moore falls into like the Jets job or the Browns job if they get rid of their coach? Where do you think he would land?
I think Kellen Moore is the head coach of the Chargers in 2024.
That's what I think the same thing, but for some reason I don't think he's gonna. It's actually not
Okay,
gonna happen.
okay. So here we go. Sorry, Marno, you're going to say something real quick, but
You're
I'm going
good.
to throw it out real quick. Is it easier to hire Kellen Moore than make a trade for Sean McVay? If you're Washington, he already knows the
Well,
division.
But they got Eric Bieniemy right there.
Okay, yeah. See that's going to be an issue, right? I mean, they kind of put themselves into a corner with Eric
Yeah.
Bieniemy.
Yeah, they did, but I think they did it for a reason. Like, stay here for a little bit, then you're gonna be promoted to a coach if we suck. They're gonna get a quarterback like Drake May or Caleb Williams. That team sucks really bad.
But look,
So, I
let's
don't
be
know.
honest. I don't care how good of an offensive coordinator you are. You have that Washington offense. You aren't doing anything with those guys.
Yeah,
Scary Terry,
Look, yeah, well, that's one
Who's
guy.
throwing him the ball? Yeah.
Dotson, Sam Howell.
Yeah,
not-
that's what I'm saying. So
De'Ami Brown's
Bieniemy's
not bad.
is going to be exposed for not being a good offensive coordinator when in reality he might be. He just doesn't have Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey anymore.
I mean,
Seriously.
Why did he leave? He should have never left. What are you
'Cause
doing, buddy?
ego,
for the
dude.
lateral position? You
Always
kidding me?
ego. Always ego.
Come on,
That's
buddy.
not a lateral position. That's a cut job.
Yeah, you're
Right?
right. Yeah,
I mean,
you're right.
seriously.
yeah, he probably just was sick and tired of living in Kansas City. I mean, who can blame the guy?
It's true.
Dude,
Sick
All
and
right.
tired.
Yeah,
You
Mario, who do you got
mentioned-
as your sorry, keep
Oh,
going.
No. But before I get to my guy, but you mentioned Lennon like still on top. Kellen Moore kind of did. Loses Dak and gets Herbert. I'd make that trade.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
Yeah, but he lost the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, the number one team in the NFL. Right? You still aren't with the Dallas Cowboys. You did a lateral move and you went to the Chargers. You aren't even the number one team in your city. You're supposed to be. The Rams are supposed to be the number one city. And then the Cowboys, I mean, they start every goddamn sports show from starting, this week till, Valentine's Day. It's ridiculous.
fair. But being rich in LA would be nice.
Yeah.
I would sleep at night with that. So my last guy was Staley. I'll pivot because I do agree with everything you said, Josh, like 110,000%. My guy, a little surprising, Matt Eberflus. Like we've mentioned this multiple times, defensive guy. Defense looked like dog crap. And just a little news flash for people that Fields could take a step this year. Fields could be a good quarterback this year. But if they don't do anything in that division and they don't bring home any games and they don't make it to the playoffs, and on top of that, look, Bears have never had a quarterback, but they still love their defenses. If that defense blows and it's on scheme and it's on things that he's putting together that's just frankly just not working, and it's Ryan Poles as the GM going, I just found my quarterback. You can't tell me in the back of his head he's not thinking, and I would love an offensive genius to keep leading this thing. I think he could really find himself in a hot spot, in a bad position pretty quickly with the Chicago Bears, and that's in a market that's not very forgiving pretty quickly. I think that's something that could happen really quick. like really fast, especially if Kellen Moore becomes available, if Eric Bieniemy becomes unavailable. I could see that being a lateral move of, look, we got our guy. We don't have the coach yet. Not a lot of people were really impressed with what he did last year. I could see Flus easy being on a quick way out of in Chicago.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's out. I mean, here's the deal. You aren't going to like what I'm going to say right now, Mario.
Okay.
The most overrated franchise in the history of the NFL is the Chicago Bears. Okay.
Hurtful, but true.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah,
they talk about the 85 Bears like they won the entire decade in the 80s. I mean, it's insane. It was one season, and they talk about that Bears team like they won every Super Bowl in the 80s. And yet guys have gone on to obviously market themselves like crazy off of it. Great. I understand Chicago is popular as the Cubs are and the Blackhawks and the Bulls with Michael Jordan. The Bears are still the number one team in that city. I got it. I understand all that stuff. But you weren't alive back then. The Bears were a disappointment the following year. They were a disappointment the year after that, and the year after that when they should have been great. The Bears should have had a dynasty, but they didn't. So they aren't as relevant as what I think Chicago fans think they are. And you talk about great players. You know, you got Gale Sayers and you have Walter Payton, and you have a ton of linebackers over the years that have just been outstanding Hall of Famers. Yet one Super Bowl. That's it. You know, and I feel the same way about the goddamn Giants too, by the way. I know Giant fans are like, what are you talking about? Keep us out of it. We've won a bunch of Super Bowls. The Giants, take away the years they won the Super Bowls, they're the most boring franchise in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Right? Seriously. Even when they won, they were boring. Like those Eli Manning years were boring as hell. Those are boring years. Phil Simms was boring. Mark Bavaro, boring. Phil McConkey, boring. There's nothing exciting about the Giants. Yet the Giant fans have been talking your ear off all the time. Like, enough. The 49ers were exciting, at least when they had Joe Montana and Steve Young. They put on a show for you. I don't know, man. That's it. So with the Bears, and I'm going to throw this one at you because we're going to make a bet right now, Mario, you and me.
Okay.
Justin Fields. Does he finish in the top 20 stat-wise quarterbacks in the NFL this year?
Yes.
All right.
Very easy.
When they rank quarterbacks overall.
Top 20?
Top 20.
Dude,
all right.
Yeah. I'll show you my bank account and you can take it all.
Dude, I don't trust your bank account.
You're
scrounging around before the show to find sleeping pills to make sure you can fall asleep tonight. I don't trust your bank account.
Got a discount.
We're looking on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Honestly, how much better is Justin Fields than Jordan Love to you?
Where does Justin Fields rank amongst the 32 quarterbacks? Honest question.
Well, whoever the Washington has is going to be last.
He was the 80s in the top 100. They ranked him 86th.
Okay,
let's know that was too high.
League.
We both know that's too high.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. He's ahead of Trevor Lawrence, which is insane.
Come on, dude. Ahead of Trevor Lawrence.
With what he can do on his legs, he broke a Vic record.
What many Super Bowls did he win? Yeah, how many Super Bowls did he win?
Who had the number one pick class this year?
At one time, he's also a top 5 player in the league. Okay. If you
one when they beat the Niners.
If you want to sit there, and honestly say on July 26th that Jordan Love is better.
I didn't say it was better. I think Jordan Love is horrible, dude. Honest to God, I'm the biggest Jordan Love hater on the planet. I think Jordan Love is terrible.
Okay, so but you think they're on like the same wavelength?
Let's do this. Okay, let's do. We can't. I don't want to do the running. I want to do passing. Okay.
Okay.
Who
passing?
Okay, Ryan Tannehill. I will take over Justin Fields. And Tannehill's garbage.
God, Dave.
And Tannehill's garbage.
God, Dave.
Should do our quarterback tiers next show.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Dave.
Let's do it.
Wait,
let's bet a hoodie. Let's bet a hoodie.
I'd bet $400. He has DJ Moore, Daryl Mooney, and Claypool. Claypool sucks, but at number 3, he's not a bad receiver to throw to this year.
You got to be able to get him the ball. There's a bunch of guys you just named. I'm not sure you can get him the ball.
All right, top 20 in passing. Top 20 in passing.
I'll just go top 20 in passing, or do you want to go Tannehill stats against his stats? And I think Tannehill's garbage.
I'll take both. I'll parlay that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you want to bet, sweet cheeks?
We're going the most expensive Charger hoodie you can find. How's
Oh,
that?
dude, if they have a deal with Lululemon, you're in trouble.
That's fine. It's on.
Yeah.
Write it
Alright,
down.
I'm taking the tight ends options though, right? DeAndre Hopkins, Traylon Burks, and Derrick Henry. Right? Am I wrong?
No. DJ Moore, Kmet,
Or
Mooney, and Claypool.
yeah, I mean Traylon Burks is pretty damn good to be honest.
Yeah, they say he's a number one. They say the Titans have 2 number 1 receivers this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that's going to hurt is that Derrick Henry's going to run the ball a lot, but
Exactly.
yeah, I'm interested to see how that plays out. All right, who's
All right.
your Dave? Who's
Here's
your
my third.
coach?
It's
Yeah.
Staley. I was holding back. It's Staley. Staley's gone. I
We all
don't
have
think you guys
Staley.
all thought I was going to say that one, but Staley's gone.
No, I thought it was going to be your first one.
I know. I thought you guys were going to say that. I did not think you guys were going to say Stefanski. Really was disappointed. Josh nailed Stefanski.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a really good one.
McCarthy, Stefanski, and Staley. Those are my 3 guys that I think are all out of a job. And I'm just not a Staley fan. There's almost nothing you can do outside of winning the Super Bowl or going to the Super Bowl where I'm going to go. Sorry, I was wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yes, my third guy, and I thought Dave, you for sure were going to have this person. And he's one of my favorite human beings. He seems just like a great guy, but there's great guys that pump gas at the Shell station, as Dave likes to say, is Sean McDermott. How many chances does Sean McDermott get with the Bills? Yeah. How many times are they going to go into the season as a top team and fall on their face? Seriously. Yeah. Sean McDermott seems like a great guy, like I said, but for God's sakes, get it done one time.
Another defensive guy, right?
Yeah, and nobody talks about choking with Josh Allen. The dude chokes like crazy, but he's such a good story that we're not going to talk about it. Josh Allen, to me, is one of the more overrated quarterbacks. Definitely one of the best, but one of the most overrated. For God's sakes, he chokes every freaking time it's the fourth quarter. So Sean McDermott, to me, is definitely on the hot seat.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I was contemplating him. I know they just extended him, but I was like, still like, I mean, at some point they're gonna go. Hey, at some point the GM's gonna get an option from the owner or whoever. It's either you or him. Same thing the coach did with OCs, and they go.
You know what? Hey, you know what's weird though? Real quick about we talked about the Chargers won't pay for that big name coach. And Marty Schottenheimer's the biggest name coach that they really ever had. And the Spanish family doesn't like to spend on coaches. But, by signing Justin Herbert to the $262.5 million contract, that money has to be paid up front. It has to be put into an account. It doesn't all go to Justin Herbert right away, but that money is put into a single account. Like, that's a big check that the Spanish family had to write. Yeah. They kind of didn't have a choice, but still they had to write that check to put it into the account. Kind of nuts.
Feel bad for them or something? Why
no, I don't feel bad. I'm just saying, for an organization that's known for being extremely cheap, just like the Bengals are in the same boat. The Brown family, same thing. The rumor with the Bengals was if they signed you to a deal, you had to bring in your own white helmet and then they would paint it for you. Super cheap, man, crazy. But it's nuts to think that I don't know. You guys ever pay your bills when you're in college and you're like the cable bill comes and it's like $63 and you start sweating? You're like, $63. I don't know if it's in the account. You know what I mean? Imagine writing a check for that much money. You're going like, if you're the Bengals, I'm writing a check for $300 million right now, and I don't get to touch that money. It's going to be, I'm never going to see it again. It's kind of, for those guys, it has to hurt a little bit. There's a lot of sweat coming.
I would have felt more like what you're saying right now until I saw the Dan Snyder payout and what those owners get every single year from the pot that they share. It's like, holy crap, man! These guys just print money. I have no sympathy towards Dean's.
That's true. That's a really good point. That's a good point. Yeah. It's about $300 million before the season even begins. They make from the TV deal. It might be a little bit more now, but I think when you count DirecTV, CBS, Fox, NBC, all those, it's they get a check for around $300 million each owner.
And they're also living every American's dream. You own a football team.
That's it. Because that's the way wealthy people do it now. It's not about the Ferrari or the mansion or the yacht. It's about, do you own a pro team? And there's nothing like owning an NFL team. It's the best thing to own.
Bro, you don't have to play fantasy football. You're in the real football.
It's nuts, man. It's a great life. All right, let's do a little. Is this weird? I was like this. Mario, what do you got?
Oh, what I had for the other one? Oh, dude, is it so this refers probably more to my dad, because I realize that my dad eats like a 12-year-old. But dude, I especially if I'm like a little banged up. I get really interested in people's like diets, like what they eat, and I love like this is one of the more meaner things I've ever done in my life, and I felt really, really bad about it. But like, my dad like loves like my dad's 5-star meal is corn dogs, and
Dude, I love your dad.
yeah, he ate. I saw him eat 24 hot dogs. I mean corn dogs. He eats 24 corn dogs with a sugar-free Baja Blast Mountain Dew, and then he ate 2 golden Oreo cookies on top of that, and then he had a Snickers ice cream bar, and then he had a strawberry shortcake mix from like the Harbor Market just down the street. And I'm literally sitting there in awe. Like I am
I'm
actually
in
in
awe.
awe. Yes.
What's this 24 hot dogs? What are you talking about?
Dude, I'm sorry, corn dogs. Dude, he puts them in.
I know corn dogs. I got
Yeah.
it, but that's a lot of. How's that? That fills you up like crazy.
Yeah, dude, he's a fast food tank. Can't eat anything else, but he's a fast food tank. And dude, he was inhaling that. And I told him how to use an air fryer, which might have been the worst thing ever. And as he's like pulling it out, I literally go, it makes sense now. Like when you say like, I don't know why I have a gut. I'm like, dude, look what you're eating. This is absurd.
Dude, I want to see this.
Dude, it's nuts. Yeah.
Like I can eat like crazy, but dude, honestly, I don't know if I can eat more than 3 corn dogs.
Yeah, no, he can pound them. Dude, he's like he grew up in a white trash area, and you can't take the white trash out of him. Like his choice of a cocktail is Mountain Dew, and vodka, or Baja Blast.
Hell yeah,
yeah, or Baja Blast. Yeah. His favorite seltzer is Mountain Dew seltzer, and I like that. And he'll go get that. I'm not kidding you. I'll go get a Mountain Dew seltzer right now and show you. It's insane.
Oh my god, dude, that's funny as hell.
Yeah,
that's funny as hell.
Kind of impressive.
All right. Here, I'm gonna tell you my run-in I had this week, Mario. I already told Josh.
Yeah.
I had to call him. I'm not going to say the name of the store, okay, because I don't want to get sued.
Okay.
But so I go to a store, one of those stores, obviously in your neighborhood. You can buy anything, not a grocery store, but you buy laundry detergent, soap, water. If you pick up a 24-pack of water or whatever, and I go into one of these stores and I buy that kind of stuff for the house. And it's 8:00 in the morning, 8:13. I'm ready to check out, and there are no cashiers nowhere in the store. And so I asked someone who works there. I said, "Hey, there are no cashiers. Is someone going to check me out?" They said, "We aren't getting any cashiers till 9:00." And I said, "Well, I'm not waiting 47 minutes for a cashier. So you're telling me you want me to self checkout?" And they said, "Yeah, we want to self checkout." So I go and I do the thing, beep, beep, beep all the way through. In California, dude, you have to pay for bags. Mario, do you know that?
Yes, I do. In DC, that was like one of the only times I've ever gotten in a fight is they did that, and I had no idea it was a thing, and I literally, go for it. I'm sorry.
So how many bags do you have? I didn't lie. I could have stole the 3 bags, but I put 3. I paid for the 3 bags. I put everything in my cart. And I start walking out. Dude, guess what? The alarm goes off. Okay, so obviously I stole something that I didn't check through, that I thought I checked everything, but something didn't register. So the alarm goes off. And of course they track me down, man, as I'm 10 feet outside the door. And they say, "Hey, you have to come back. The alarm went off." I said, "I'm not coming back." And they go, "What do you mean you aren't coming back?" I didn't go through proper training. I don't work here. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I don't work here. Nobody trained me how to do the proper checkout. I guess I messed up. You see my truck? It's all the way down there at the end of the parking lot. I'm going to keep walking towards that truck. If you follow me to my truck, I'm going to take it as that you're accosting me, and I'm going to be forced to defend myself. I'm going to beat the crap out of you right here in the parking lot. If you get near me in my truck or and what I just bought at the store. Dude, they walked right back in. And then so I called Josh, and Josh like, "You just threatened the workers over there?" And I said, 100% I did. And my point is, what the hell happened to service? Am I out of my mind for saying it's too much to ask for a cashier? If anything, they should take $15 off of my purchase, because minimum wage in California is $15 an hour. I just did someone's job, minimum wage. Right? Is that crazy? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Man, there's a lot to unpack here. I'll let Mario talk to you about this. Mario, you weigh in on this.
Okay, so like Josh said, there's a lot to unpack here. One, just the flat out, like not going, oh, like maybe like I did. Like let me just check real quick.
Maybe I stole a block of cheddar cheese.
Yeah. just to if you follow me, I'm gonna take that as a threat. Is a crazy, like a little bit of an overreaction. That was just probably like a piece of gum that you like forgot to scan. It's a little nuts. The cashier thing is probably the most ridiculous thing of all time. And side thing, Josh, maybe you agree with me on this. It's always self checkout, right? It's always self checkout.
Josh likes self
Always.
checkout.
Big
Yeah.
self checkout guy.
Always. I got my AirPods in anyways. I'm listening to something. It's self checkout. Yeah.
Okay, so look here. Okay, my bill came out to around $179. Is that too much to self checkout? Is there a limit when you do self checkout?
Oh, I did a whole video on this. I'm glad you asked.
Go off. Yeah.
15 items or less, self checkout. If you have more than 15 items, you're just being a pain in the ass to the rest of the people in the store.
I agree.
15 items or less, you self checkout. If you have more than that, you wait in the line because now you're just being a problem. If it takes you more than 2 minutes, and I literally mean 2 minutes to go through the self checkout, you don't belong to the self checkout. Those are for people that need to go. If you have a full cart, if you have a full cart, you go through the self checkout, you deserve to get slapped by everybody inside the store. You're an idiot.
I agree.
100%.
Also, like Dave, you described that. I saw that as you maybe had 4 items. Now I know pricing's a little different from here to there, but like 106. That's
a
more
lot.
than a couple,
Yeah.
man.
How many items do you have?
Yeah, how many items was that?
Let's see, Alan. I can remember. I had two big things of water. I had laundry detergent. I think I bought some York peppermint patties. I had a bunch of corn dogs. I bought coffee creamer. I don't know. I don't know. I'd say I probably had about 15 items total.
Damn.
Got some more extra sharp cheddar cheese, some pickles.
You need to have at least one cashier, at minimum.
Yeah.
One
Got it.
cashier. You can't have an only self checkout, dude.
There were 20
That's
of them
ridiculous.
wide open. 20 stands wide open.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's inexcusable. That's crazy. What if you have like an old woman that doesn't want to do it? Will you make her do it? Come on now.
And then that's just more time also because you have to explain to that old woman what to do, and then they're going to be so lost. And then like they probably have cash. That thing doesn't take cash anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good point. That's a good point.
Also, like side thing is like Trader Joe's. I am, dude. I don't need a conversation anymore. I'm checking out. I do not need a conversation anymore. If I hear anything freaking more of them telling me their life story or trying to reciprocate something, I'll rob you point blank right then and there. I'll rob the whole damn place.
How about the idea when they comment on the stuff you buy? Oh, my boyfriend loves these. Oh, do you like them? My boyfriend loves them. I don't care.
Yeah.
Nobody asked.
Cool.
Nobody asked. Yeah. God dang it. Damn it, man.
I got one time when I got like a bunch of meat and the lady's scanning it and she goes, yeah, vegetables are important for getting in shape too. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go get a freaking chocolate bar now and 2 extra New York strips. And it's going to be on you, sweetie. Like, let's easy with the lip.
Yeah. Round's a shape too.
Me.
Okay. Maybe my shape I'm trying to get is round. Okay. Calm down. What about yourself?
That's that stuff, dude. That made me I was so angry. Shout out to this one guy. I think I've already told this, but shout out to that one guy that he says he's from San Diego. I told him to listen to the pod because he said he's a Chargers fan. But it was like a long line, and I get to the front, and he looks at me dead in the eye, goes, "Want to see how fast I can scan these?" Swear my life. And I go, sure, like I would love to. And he's scanning it so fast, and he's like on the screen, and I was off what would some people call devil's lettuce, so I was just sitting there being amazed, and he looks at me straight face and goes, I used to have competitions all the time in San Diego with me and my friend. I won like all the time. I was just like, I bet, dude. He goes, you need 685? Oh, you have a good day. I was like, thanks, Mark.
Oh, God.
What the hell?
He's that guy before he was doing that. He was that guy that played with those plastic cups.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those guys with the pyramids and stuff with the cups. And like, all right, dude, what are you doing with your time? What are you doing?
Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah, let's calm down. All right, you and your
Did you-
plastic cups. Get the hell out
Did
of
you
here.
have to do that in school, Josh, by the way, in gym class when those things get
No.
popular? Oh,
No.
damn.
You
You had to
liked
do it
it?
in gym class?
Yeah,
What the
they
hell
brought
you
it for
talking
gym
about?
class. They brought it for gym class, and we had a whole week about like learning how to do it quick.
Oh my god,
I know.
what the hell's going on?
That's
Is it
crazy.
crazy. That is
I know.
crazy. It's great. Great. Everyone in the school ends up with a carpal tunnel. Fantastic. Great idea. Jesus. All right, let's get the hell out of here. All right,
Yeah.
are we done?
Yeah.
All right.
Subscribe to the freaking pod before we call the cops on you.
All right, good. Just so people know, that show's a little off the rails. I gotta let people know it is after midnight where Mario is right now. It's after 11 where Josh is. It's late, so this is an unusual show. You could thank Justin Herbert for the show being a little bit off the rails, but we're doing a late one for you guys. We appreciate you watching and listening. Of course, we love the comments on YouTube and again listening to the Odyssey app. Again, this is the Bolt City Podcast. We're here all season long talking Charger football. We'll be back with another show very shortly. For Josh Pele, Mario Heron, I'm Dave Pele. We'll see you next time.